Welcome to Picture Talk. Welcome to this small little podcast that I created for this learning diary that I'm doing. This is episode 1, and I'm not sure if there will be more episodes in the future for this learning diary. I even created a little logo for this, so there might be more episodes, I'm not sure yet. But for now, this first episode is going to be about Rashid Johnson's Untitled Anxious Red Drawing. And I have to give credit to my sister, who is not only my sister, but also a communication designer. So she has a lot more expertise in this field than I could ever have. And I sat down with her and really discussed the painting with her. And we talked a lot about it. And I'd just like to present sort of the things that we talked about and our ideas. Unfortunately, she doesn't have time to be here with me. Otherwise, I would love to have her with me discussing this on the podcast, but she doesn't have time. And for the future, if I do make another episode, I would love to have her with me. Her English is also great, so maybe we will do that in the future. But for now, let's talk about Rashid Johnson. So his painting, when I showed it to her, her first thought was to compare it to a painting by Mark Rothko, which is Untitled. And I'm going to create an image of that painting within the learning diary, so there will be a link probably, or just a picture of the painting inside the learning diary. And well, let's first of all talk about the similarities that we find between these two paintings. First of all, the focus is on colors, and the focus is on the color red, which is in both, while in Johnson's painting there's only one shade of red, and in Rothko's there are 3 shades of red, but it's very few colors in both cases, and it's a space of colors. So what I mean by that is the space of the painting is not seen as a room, but more seen as a flat surface that can be used. Another similarity is that there is a composition here. So while the painting by Johnson looks very much chaotic, there still is a composition and a repetition. And in Rothko's painting, you also see that composition. So there are 2 big rectangles, and in Johnson's painting, there's a bunch of squares. So there is even though it's chaotic, there is a composition in both of these. But let's talk about the differences. Johnson's painting is about human emotions, as the title already says, whereas Rothko's painting is quite cold. Even though it's red, it seems quite cold, and it's more just about an experiment of the colors. And also the shades of red that are used in Johnson's painting is quite a strong shade of red that would be associated maybe with blood. And in Rothko's painting it's also red, but it just comes across much more calm, all 3 shades of red. And then not only the colors themselves, but also the way that the colors are used. So everything is super calm. In Rothko's painting it's plain, whereas in Johnson's painting it's aggressive, it's chaotic. It looks like someone who's anxious painted this. So while one painting is full of strong emotions, the other is completely free from emotions. So Johnson's painting is expressionistic or very expressive, while Rothko's painting is very controlled. Exactly. So chaos versus control is a good point that my sister made, actually. I have to give credit to her. This is not all my ideas, I have to be honest here. And there's a sort of ambivalence and a paradox in Johnson's painting, because it does look very chaotic. It does look like someone anxious just drew whatever they wanted in a red color. But when you think about it, there is a clear order. There are these squares, and they are even in very similar, if not exact, sizes and dimensions. So it's ambivalent, it's paradoxic. And another thing that my sister and I discussed when we were looking at this is, my first thought when I saw Johnson's painting was that I saw a sort of skeleton in these squares. So what I saw was, it looks like there are shoulders and arms, and then there is a neck, and then the head, where it would be, is covered by just the red color, or it's cut off, you could say. And then in the middle, in between the arms that I see as arms, that looks to me as if it was the rib cage or the lungs, and that's what I saw. But when I told my sister about this, she did not see that at all, which I found interesting. And what she saw was eyes. She didn't see any arms, anything like that, no neck, and no lungs. And the thing that I perceived as lungs or a rib cage, to her was eyes. And then we actually had a look at some other paintings by Johnson, and it seems that she was right. I'm not sure if there is a right or wrong here, because it's never explained anywhere, but if you look at some other paintings by him, there are some very similar ones where it's clearly eyes. So you could assume it is eyes here as well. So it's interesting how differently we perceive that, and apparently I was wrong, if you can say it like that. So what I'd like to summarize here is that even though these images, these paintings are really somewhat similar in many ways, as I explained, they still have a completely different approach when it comes to what they express. One is completely warm and chaotic and expressionistic, and the other is cold, even though it uses the colors red, or different shades of red. And I guess I found it extremely interesting how there are these really similar, to me very similar, or to us very similar paintings, and yet they express such wildly different emotions, or no emotions at all. And well, this is it. I'm not sure how long I'm supposed to make these podcasts. I know that you have a lot of people who make these learning diaries, so I don't want to make it over 10 minutes, so that will be it. Maybe when this is uploaded, you can let me know if this is too long or too short. I'm really not sure, but that will be it for now. And hopefully, maybe I will make more episodes, hopefully with a guest. And that's it. Bye.